Today we're making the easiest same-day no-knead focaccia. Focaccia sandwiches were such a hit in LA this summer. I had quite a few. But I was first inspired to make focaccia when I saw Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, which is a show by Samin Nosrat on Netflix. In this episode, she goes to Italy and to an olive farm and eventually makes the most delicious focaccia. I did tweak my recipe a bit just because we're doing a same-day focaccia, but the one thing I kept was a really good extra virgin olive oil. They use a Ligurian olive oil in her recipe, and I found a Ligurian one, but any really good extra virgin olive oil will do. I'm then topping it with a garlic confit, which I'll show you how to make, which made it so good, and then making a delicious sandwich at the end. It's really good, it's really easy, guys, so let's get to it. We're starting with 1.5 cups of warm water. You want to make sure your water is between 105 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Add in a teaspoon of honey. The honey helps activate the yeast and balances the flavor. I'm using 7 grams of instant yeast. The label should say quick rise or rapid rise. The right yeast is key to making this focaccia same day. Proof your yeast by letting it sit 5 to 7 minutes until a foamy surface forms like this. I'm using my kitchen scale to measure out 3 3/4 cups of flour or 470 grams. You want to make sure that this is a precise measurement. If you're using a cup measurement, just make sure to level it out. It's super important. Add in your salt and then give it a stir. And you're going to make a little divot in the middle and pour in your yeast mixture. Combine well until you form a wet dough. I added a little more water. I think it was about a tablespoon because my dough was not coming together. But depending on the flour you use, you might have to add a few tablespoons more of water. Add in your olive oil and give it a mix until fully combined. You're going to tightly cover your dough and let it sit in a warm room. I turned on my heat to about 70 degrees Fahrenheit to ensure it proofs. After 30 minutes, your dough should have doubled in size. We're going to perform a series of 4 stretches and folds, allowing the dough to develop gluten. You're just going to lift it up one time, turn it towards you, and do that for a total of 4 times. Cover it and let it sit for another 30 minutes. Now it's time to make our garlic confit. I'm using around 10 large cloves of garlic. You'll want to make sure they're fully immersed in an olive oil, and we're going to bake this at about 325 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes or until they're nice and soft. Time for our second stretch and fold. You'll want to make sure your hands are oiled so that it doesn't stick to the dough. You're just going to again lift, fold it over, turn the bowl towards you for a total of 4 times. You're going to cover and let it sit for 30 minutes. You're going to repeat this process 2 more times. After the 4th stretch and fold, immediately transfer it to a 9x13 pan coated with your 1/4 cup of olive oil. Gently stretch it to the edges. If it's difficult to stretch, rest 15 minutes and try again. Then you're going to cover and let it rest for 45 to 60 minutes. For our topping, I'm combining 5 cloves of our garlic confit, 1/2 cup of water, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and a tablespoon of sea salt. And here comes my absolute favorite part. You're going to oil your hands and you're going to make dimples in the dough like you're playing the piano. This is what gives it that texture that focaccia is well known for. Top it with our garlic mixture, making sure to just get it in every one of the corners and holes, since this is what helps develop that crispy crust that we really want. We're going to bake it at 450 degrees Fahrenheit until a golden crust forms. A little more golden than this. That's more like it. I topped it with a little bit more of my garlic mixture and then transferred it to a baking rack to allow it to cool for about 20 minutes. You don't want to let it cool in the pan because that will make the bottom soggy, which we do not want.
I mean, we worked so hard for this crispy crust. Now let's make our easy, yummy sandwich so we can dig into this baby. Slice your bread and top it with about 6 to 8 pieces of mortadella, totally up to you, but I say go big or go home. Then we're gonna top it with an entire container of burrata because why the hell not? I also made some Zaatar Pistachio Breadcrumbs, but totally up to you. I'll link it below. Some arugula, olive oil, and some salt. Normally I would add tomatoes and some balsamic, but I was trying to stay away from acidity because of my stomach. Look at that. I cannot wait to eat this. Looks so good, I could not figure out where to take my first bite. Oh, it was so good. I hope you enjoy it, guys. Bon appetit and see you next time.